my allergies are killing me because the trees are trying to have sex with each other, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's odd that
Well,
we're allergic to their reproductive processes.
it is weird.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
wonder.
weird.
I wonder if they're allergic to ours.
I mean, we don't expose them to ours, so how do you
Yeah,
know?
I don't know. That's a good point. I
Yeah,
wonder. Do you think animals are allergic to things? Like, do you think deer sneeze?
it's a
You
good
know,
question.
yeah,
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I think about that all the time. Like, the squirrels like have allergies. Like,
Yeah,
I bet they don't.
I feel like people didn't have allergies as much when I was a kid. Was it just like
Man,
they
I've
didn't
been
have it as much, or people didn't talk about it as
Dude,
much?
I've been struggling with allergies my entire life.
Really?
It's been, yes, since I was born, I've had this,
Now, my
like,
allergies when I was a kid was like I couldn't roll around on the grass because I'd start breaking out, or
uh,
if I touched hay, I would break out.
yeah, if I breathe in the spring, I sneeze all day. So that's just how it is.
Yeah, you just gotta start walking around with like a mask or something.
Or I could just never leave the house, which is probably another thing I could just not do. But anyway,
Yeah,
we're not here to talk about allergies, even though we could talk about it for a long period of time.
we're
We're
doing
here to,
something new.
yeah, doing something new and different. So, Mike, what are we doing?
We're talking about the Mandalorian, Star Wars
Yeah.
stuff.
Star Wars stuff, The Mandalorian. Admittedly, I know just as much about Star Wars as you do, Mike, which is almost nothing. But we know enough to talk about it, and we have
Yeah,
enough
not
to
even know enough
discuss
to
it.
talk about it. I mean, I've watched most of the movies.
I watched all the original movies. I watched
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
originals, and then I
Right.
watched the revamped version that was released in theaters. I saw all three in the theaters. Then I
Those
saw
where they like added new CGI stuff to it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw the
Okay.
prequels, and then I saw the newest version. So I
I
saw
don't
all.
know if I've seen all of the prequels, but I have seen all of the
Have
sequels.
you seen, well, you've probably seen all of them.
I absolutely saw the first prequel.
You saw Attack of the Clones,
Was that the second one?
yeah,
I think I saw that.
and then
I'm
you
not sure
saw
about the third. I'm not sure about
Revenge
the
of the
third one.
Sith. You saw that one. That was
I
like
don't
the best. That was the best one.
really. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know that I saw that one.
it's when he first puts on the Darth Vader outfit.
Yeah, I think I was checked out by then because
That's fine.
the first two sequel or prequels weren't very good.
No, admittedly, the best Star Wars film is Empire Strikes Back. That's standard.
Right.
But the rest of them, I kind of feel like the movies have always tried to get back what Empire Strikes Back did, and it can't. You can't mimic that genius. That movie is just brilliant. But it's
You know
always
what's better
tried to
than
do it.
Empire Strikes Back?
No, I'm not sure.
Andor,
The show.
the show.
I haven't seen that one. I've heard it was good.
It's really good. I think it's the best Star Wars thing ever made.
The thing is, and here's my biggest problem. I've actually talked about this with people. When I have free time, I don't watch television.
Right.
My wife and I have set up our lives in such a way that she has her TV time where she watches what she wants. I play video games, and then every once in a while, probably once a day, we get
Mhm.
together and watch some kind of sporting event or something. So like we don't watch
Oh,
TV
really?
together. Yeah, we
Okay.
just don't watch TV. So
It's
I
like the only
never
TV y'all watch together is like sports.
sports, or we'll watch, like, we've been big into Naked and Afraid lately with like cooking shows, which is fun. Just something where you don't have to think. Like,
Right.
I
Right.
will never get her to want to watch Andor. So if I was to watch Andor, I would have to sacrifice video game time, which probably is not going to happen.
I think
And
it's
so
worth it. I think it's worth it.
I don't know where people find enough time to watch all these TV shows. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, if people
Right.
watch far more TV than I could possibly fathom, and I don't even know if it's healthy or not. Like, good lord,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hear you.
isn't Andor? Isn't the main character for Andor? Didn't he die in that one Star Wars movie?
Rogue One,
Yeah, yeah. I see. Yeah, Rogue One. Yeah, that was good.
probably.
Yeah, he got blown up.
Yeah, but the show's really good.
All
Doesn't
right.
even matter. Doesn't even matter. It's awesome.
Is it as
You-
good as Mandalorian?
yeah, it's the best
What's
Star
the
Wars thing. It's the best Star Wars thing ever made.
what's the time frame? Why is this so why is none of this stuff happening chronologically? Why are we bouncing around
Who
time so
cares?
much? No, but it bothers me because I don't know where to start. I don't know what to keep track of.
You
I
just
don't
watch whatever they put out.
but I don't know when to do it.
If
Like,
it's good, if it's
cause
good.
then you got the Clone Wars stuff, which I don't know what to
Yeah,
do with that.
I don't. I mean,
Because apparently it's canon. All
I
the
don't.
Clone Wars
Yeah,
stuff is canon,
I don't do all the cartoons just because I don't have time.
but it's all canon. So you have to watch all of it if you want to keep
There's
track of it.
no. I'm not doing that.
Well, I mean, we're missing out on some stuff like a
Yeah, we
hardcore.
are. We absolutely are. Because like the dudes that the not John Favreau, but the other guy, Dave Filoni.
Who's that?
Dave Filoni's he's like the co-creator basically of The Mandalorian with John Favreau.
Yeah.
So John Favreau is the showrunner for The Mandalorian, and then Dave Filoni's like doing lots of story and stuff. Although like he's like a super Star Wars nerd. Like he probably knows more about Star Wars than George Lucas does at this point. Dave
Okay.
Filoni.
Okay.
But like John Favreau's writing like most of the scripts for The Mandalorian.
I wonder what it's like to like put so much heart and soul into something that you don't really own. You
I
know?
mean, everybody does that. Almost everybody.
Yeah, I guess.
You know.
I don't do that.
Uh. Okay. All right.
If someone asked me to write an episode of Star Wars stuff, would I do that? Probably. I probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not interested in it. And that's the
Right.
core of it. I was watching Mandalorian and I was trying, and maybe it might have been the episode's fault, but I was really trying to get emotionally invested in all this stuff. And like, I just couldn't, it's not that I didn't care, but there was nothing happening in the show to make me be like, all right, I
And
can't wait for
in
episode
this
2.
episode, or
Yeah, this episode.
what's your history with the Mandalorian? So have you seen the previous 2 episodes or
I've
seasons?
I've seen all 3 I've seen the first 2 seasons. I did not watch Boba Fett. But I did watch. So this is something I do a lot. If I don't watch a TV show, I will
Mhm.
go to YouTube and I will watch clips to see
Oh,
parts of it.
so did
like,
you watch the Mandalorian relevant clips from
yes,
Book of
I did.
Boba Fett?
Not even
Okay.
all of them, just enough to know that they brought back Luke Skywalker. So
Right.
they somehow de-aged Mark Hamill,
Yeah.
which looks eerie. It doesn't look good. It looks kind of scary. And then and they were training that
Not
Goku.
as good as the de-aged Robert Downey Jr. in one of the Marvel movies.
Yeah. And what's his name? Goku?
Grogu.
Grogu? Yeah, I saw them try to train Grogu, but he really wasn't being trained that well.
He's like, nah, I ain't into this Jedi stuff.
Yeah, which you know what? I kind of respect. He's like, I don't want to be a Jedi.
Right.
I have Jedi powers, but I don't really want to do this Jedi stuff. I don't blame him. Being a Jedi sounds like not fun.
Yeah. He wasn't into it.
Do you have to be connected to, if you're connected to the Force, do you have to pick a side, or can you just be like, I have Force
Everybody's
powers?
connected to the Force in some way.
Oh,
it's
God.
just, can you wield the Force or not?
I want to remind everybody this stuff isn't real. I just want to make that clear. But anyway, so yeah, I know enough. I know that Grogu, the first season was about the Mandalorian trying to find, protect.
But yeah, you have to pick a side. You have to pick a side because there's the balance of the Force, right?
Again.
So they always talk about the balance of the Force.
But like the first season was about protecting Grogu. The second season was about finding him a home. And the third season, I don't know. But this is all about Lone Wolf and Cub. You know the kind of setup, right?
What do you mean?
The idea of you have a wandering samurai or a wandering knight with a child, that's like Lone Wolf and Cub that's a Lone Wolf and Cub kind of trope, like a literary trope.
Where does Lone Wolf and Cub come from? Is that
Lone Wolf? I think it's originally from an anime or an old.
Is that like literally an old samurai movie? Maybe.
Yeah. Hang on, let me look up. Yeah. That's where it originated from, and you've seen, like, you saw, you've been watching Last of Us. That's the same thing.
Yeah. It's Pedro Pascal again, taking care of a youngling.
Yeah, Lone Wolf and Cub. Yeah, it's a comic from the 1970s. And so it's a guy, is a samurai, and he has a kid, and they travel. So that's pretty much
Ah,
that's
okay.
so don't think that Mandalorian like copied this and made something new because they didn't.
Yeah, no,
It's an
no.
obvious
I mean, it's
thing.
like heavily influenced by lots of stuff. Especially the
Westerns,
first, yeah, especially the first season was very much a spaghetti western.
yeah. I don't. Why don't we just make a western? Like what? Like I don't understand the Star Wars universe. Like what's going on? Like is this? I don't understand.
I like that. I mean, the original Star Wars was basically a western opera in space, right?
No, I guess so.
So, or a western space opera, I guess is what they call it. So I really like the western, um, and I love the kind of mission of the week
Yeah,
way that the Mandalorian started out.
yeah. Here's my problem with Star Wars, and this is a problem I think that the Mandalorian is trying to fix. It doesn't have like a central play through idea. So here's how I explain it. Star Trek, the TV show, is about trying to use technology and a strong moral ethos to guide humanity to the future. Like you can see that every episode. Like the
Right.
best of humanity going into the future. Like Battlestar Galactica deals with spirituality and mythological ideas towards the end of mankind. The Expanse is about inequality. You know,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what Star Wars is trying to say. Like, because I feel like a TV show or any kind of stuff like Star Wars, Star Trek, any kind of stuff like that should be trying at the end of the day to say something with every one of their things. So each episode, each movie, each thing is supposed to build to this higher idea. And I think the movies have tried to do that about the light force and the dark force and all that stuff. But I don't know how the Mandalorian fits in, and I don't know what they're trying to say necessarily. Am I ranting, or does that make sense?
I don't know that the Mandalorian is trying to say anything at all.
Yeah,
And I don't know that the original Star Wars really tried to say anything at all either. It was really just a story of the Skywalker family and their like character arc.
but they definitely was trying to say something with that forgiveness. Forgiveness. Not retribution. What's the word when you try to
Redemption?
redemption? Yeah, it was all about
Yeah. Yeah, I
Anakin
guess.
Skywalker finding redemption. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the original trilogy. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
And
Okay.
I think this episode talks about how the Mandalorian wants to his real name. What's his real name? Din Djarin,
Din Djarin.
Djin Djarin,
Din Djarin, I think.
Djin Djarin.
Right.
He took off his helmet at the end of season 2, and because he's in a extreme faction of these Mandalorians, and this is just me from what I've seen, his extreme factions don't take off their masks. So
Right.
all Mandalorians aren't the
Well,
same.
they say all Mandalorians don't take off their masks
We've seen no,
or their helmets.
we've seen
But that's what they
Mandalorians take it.
say. That's what they say.
That's not true.
But that's what they say.
But
They
that's
say
not
you're not
true.
a Mandalorian if you don't take off your
Well,
your
that's the
helmet.
extremists saying that,
Right, right. Yeah. Mhm.
you
Yep.
know? So if you're extremist, you feel that way, but I don't know about the religion Mandalorian. Anyway, my
But
point
like
is,
Bo Katan, who we see in this episode, she's like, that's just a bunch of garbage,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, and shout out to my girl Katie Sackhoff,
Yeah.
Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar
Katie, I
Galactica.
think, isn't it?
Kate, I
Yeah.
don't know, from Battlestar Galactica. She's great.
Right.
We'll watch
Yeah,
her on
because she's
anything.
just chilling there in her throne without her
Yeah,
helmet on.
but here's the deal, Mike. She wasn't on set. That was not. She wasn't doing anything. Like they just took her head, placed it on her body, and that was it. I mean,
What
come
are you
on.
talking about?
She wasn't on that screen. She was not on set.
You don't think her body was like in a chair
Absolutely not.
somewhere?
Nope, I do not think that.
Why not?
She didn't move. She didn't do anything.
She was
I guarantee
chilling.
it. Mike, let's be real here, okay?
I got to
Star-
rewatch that, but I don't know why. Like, if you can get her face, why can't you just get her whole body in a chair
why?
in the middle of a volume somewhere?
Who cares? Like, just get her head, paste it on there. Nobody's gonna care.
Are you saying like you looked at it and this is what it looks like to you?
I know for a fact that she was not there sitting in that chair. I know it. She didn't move.
Well, I
an
mean,
inch.
there doesn't exist. Like that
Yeah,
castle doesn't exist anymore.
that chair doesn't exist either.
So hey, while we're talking about this thing that you're getting really worked up about is yet another reason that you would love watching Andor. Because Andor was really heavy on practical effects. All of the places that you see in Andor, or all like 98% of them, are real. They're
Well,
actually at those places.
I'm into that. I'm into that. But
Yeah.
anyway, um, let's do a quick recap. You do a quick recap of the episode, 'cause I feel like we're getting off track here. Give me a recap of what happened in this episode.
All right, so it's kind of weird, right? Because we left off season 2 with Grogu going off with Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then we open up with some, like they have some like previously seen on Mandalorian stuff where it wasn't previously seen on Mandalorian. It was actually previously seen in Book of Boba Fett, but they only touch on the fact that the Mandalorian can't have his helmet off. Like they show us the scenes from the Book of Boba Fett where they're talking about how he can't have his helmet off. He's no longer a Mandalorian. He's got to like redeem himself. They don't show us any of the scenes where Grogu gives up on his training with Luke Skywalker and says, "Hey, man, I'm a ride or die with the Mandalorian. You know, me and him were bros. I'm going back to him." So then we come back into this episode. They repeat in the story. They repeat the fact that like Mandalorian goes and talks to the armorer again and says, "Oh, you can't remove your helmet," but they don't. There's no like catching us up on what happened with Grogu.
Hmm.
So that's just really weird.
Maybe because Grogu doesn't really matter to the whole story anymore. Like the Grogu,
He's key to it. He's got to be key to the whole story.
he's just a little guy hanging out with him now. Like his story's done. Like they spent time trying to figure out why he was there. They figured it out.
Yeah, but like it's got to be super jarring. Like you talk about this with the Marvel stuff all the time, how interconnected it is. This is crazy interconnected because if you only watch The Mandalorian and you watch this episode after seeing the last one, you're like, "What? Didn't he go off with Luke Skywalker?"
No, I feel you on that. But that's their fault. You know, like I
Yeah,
think
like they should have either had previously seen on some other thing and caught us up on the whole Grogu situation or what. But it was really weird how they repeated in the story. They're like, why is the Mandalorian coming to talk to the armorer again?
Well, okay, so you're missing a key point. So at the beginning of the episode, we see a young dude getting getting kind of brought into this cult.
A young foundling for the
Yeah.
Mandalorians.
They put a helmet on him, and then because of Star Wars, a massive monster shows up and tries to eat people. Now,
Right.
there's no logic behind this besides maybe the monster's hungry, but it's not a Star Wars thing unless you have a massive monster, which is, I guess, is something. Mandalorian shows up, he blows the monster up. He
uses a 1-2 shot.
Yeah, he tries to figure out a way to redeem himself or find forgiveness, and we kind of get a hint of a quest. So the whole season will be about
they
him.
already did that in the Book of Boba Fett. Like he already talked to the armorer about all of that stuff.
Okay.
So we didn't need this first part. I mean, if we saw Book of Boba Fett, we didn't need this first part. So it's just strange.
Was that first part from the Book of Boba Fett, or was that a brand new scene?
The part before the titles was from Book of Boba Fett. The part in the actual episode is new to The Mandalorian.
Okay. Well, they had their reasons for whatever reason. And then he kind of goes on this little tour of a place, that place he used to hang out a lot.
With Grief Karga.
Yeah, he wants to rebuild that kind of warrior droid because he can trust him, which is odd. I mean, I guess he wants to use him so he can go back to Mandalore and find some stuff. So he's trying to rebuild this robot.
Right. I mean, sure, but as soon as like you fired up the droid and he was like, "Must kill Grogu."
Yeah.
That's where I would have given up on this droid. I would be like, all right, I can get another droid.
Well, he doesn't want to, so he's going. There was a nice little cute scene of these little midget people that were fixing that robot. That was cute. Disney does cute things. Grogu was hugging them. That was fun.
They wanted a pet.
Yeah, it was fun. And then like we get another side mission. So another side mission is to find some kind of memory chip for
Those
the
little
robot.
thingies, they're from like one of the sequel movies.
Yeah, the last one just came out.
Yeah.
Something of the
Rise of
Skywalker.
Skywalker.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. Um, and then he goes to another planet and hangs out with Starbuck and talks to her for a minute, and then leaves.
At Bo-Katan.
Yeah. Um, there's a mention of that kind of cool sword that he has.
Yeah, the dark saber.
Yeah. So if
You left out the battle with the pirates, though. That was probably my favorite part of the episode.
I guess.
Was the dogfight with the pirates in space.
Dude, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Like
And,
flying through the asteroids and stuff. That was pretty cool. I like that.
but okay, we've seen all that before. Like
Yeah, but it was cool this time. It was cool. I'm
I
always down for a dogfight amongst asteroids, I guess.
yeah.
I don't know that that'll ever get tired for me. I mean, you can do a bad job of it, and I won't like it. But I thought they did a good job of it. I liked it.
I think if we're going to continue to talk about the Mandalorian this season, I think if we're going to do this, I think
Yeah.
the plan is to try to convince me that this stuff isn't bad. And right now,
I didn't really dig this episode, to be honest with you. I liked the Mandalorian 1 and 2 a lot. This one, maybe they're just getting off to a rough start. But I hope the rest of the season is better than this first episode. Because really my favorite part of it was that dogfight in the asteroids.
it feels like the key energy of this show was Grogu. The idea of where he came from, how we going to save him, and how we going to find him a home. And this season, what is it? Like we're missing a key.
I think the mission this time, or the overarching story, is either Mando is going to find out that he doesn't need to be anybody else's version of a Mandalorian. He can be his own version of a Mandalorian, or some version of like he reunites the Mandalorians. One of the two.
Yeah, I can see that. But is that enough? Am I interested in that? I mean, let's be real here. Okay, I'm going to be real here. The only reason we even have this show is because in Empire Strikes Back and in Return of the Jedi, everybody liked Boba Fett. They thought he was cool. Now, Boba Fett got eaten by a sand monster, but hey, guess what? He wasn't eaten by a sand monster, which is a big problem. But anyway, the idea of the helmet, the idea of this cool looking Mandalorian thing has been a big deal for Star Wars fans since I was like 5, right? So it's like for like 40 years. And so we finally get to explore this. But like, can a cool helmet be enough to keep me interested for a long period of time? We'll see. Maybe.
That's where I'm hoping they get back to the mission of the week formula. Because I like that better than some overarching story about the Mandalorian that I don't really care about.
Yeah. And like there's
like I don't care about the Mandalorian people at all. Because all I know them is what I've seen in this show. And Boba Fett. That's it.
And there's a lot about this there's a lot from the Clone Wars and
frankly, they seem kind of like jerks. I don't,
Well, I mean, they're a displaced people, and I think the show could do a better job trying to explain it. But they could do so. The whole thing is there's a lot behind the scenes when it comes to the Star Wars cartoons, like Clone Wars and other stuff that ties back into a lot of stuff that we just don't know about. So I think that some people could watch this and get more excited than me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because they know it. But at the same time, like this show, there's an obvious disconnect between the energy and coolness of this episode versus the energy and coolness of the first and second episodes of the first season or second season. Like you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
And it might still come back to some of the issues that Disney's having long term with some of their properties. They might be struggling right now, but we'll see. It's kind of interesting to look at because, like, I don't know if we talked about this enough, but Disney had a $4.1 billion loss last year. Disney Plus, they lost that much money.
Oh, Disney Plus, yeah.
So, like, at the end of the day, like, they're trying to figure out how can they be as
all
like
the streaming services are having trouble.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
they cost so much to make content versus how many
right.
people, and like you only have a certain amount of people that's going to pay money to Disney Plus, and how you can't get new people to subscribe. It's like
I think
that.
this whole thing of like we're gonna have our own streaming and we're gonna have our own exclusive content. I hope somehow that goes away.
No, it's never going away, man. It's done. It's
I mean, if they
that
keep
ship's
losing
done.
$4 billion a year, something's got to change.
Well, okay, when they say we lost $4 billion, what they're really saying is we did
Yeah,
not make $4 billion. We
right.
wanted to, but we did. So it's not like they lost money. What they did is we didn't make as much as we wanted to make. So like, so they'll be. I think Disney's going to be fine. Um, but no, that's we're never going to go back to a time where Disney Plus goes away, Netflix goes away, and we all go back to cable TV again.
I mean,
That's
I don't
gone.
want that either. I don't want cable TV either. I want something in between.
What would that look like?
I want a thing where like I can say, "Hey, I want to pay you guys for um 5 channels, and I get to pick the channels. You don't pick the channels. But if I want more channels, I've got to give you more money."
Yeah, it's called Amazon. It's called Amazon Prime. You can do that right now.
No, but now I need Amazon Prime. I need Disney Plus. I need Apple TV Plus. I need Netflix. I need
No, you can get
Paramount.
you can get no. You can go to Amazon Prime and
I
you
need
can get
Crunchyroll.
what's the crunch? What's that?
It's for anime.
You watch anime?
No,
Who
I'm
does?
just naming. I'm just naming streaming services.
Is that a real thing? Crunchyroll?
Crunchyroll. I'm surprised you don't know about that.
What the hell is that?
It's an anime channel, an anime streaming
What's
thing.
it called? Crunchyroll.
Sushi,
That's so stupid.
Crunchyroll. You know,
That's stupid. Um, I'm getting to the point in my life where I'm old enough to be like, that's dumb, and not say anything else afterwards.
I like the name Crunchyroll. I think it's kind of cool.
I'm not paying for it. But anyway, like, so when it comes to the Mandalorian, yeah, I mean, the coolest thing about this episode was the space flight flying thing. But I've seen it before, so I wasn't really like, woohoo! It was just like, okay, space flight. That was fun. I did like, like I don't know.
It was just a well executed dogfight in the asteroids. That's all.
I did like how we got more puppeteering stuff and less special effects. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm down for the Muppets. Give me more Muppets.
Yeah, that all looked good. That all looked really good.
Right.
Um, but I just want I want to see something kind of new and different. Like this is you can look at this in 3 seconds and tell this is Star Wars. All Star Wars kind of looks the same. It's dirty. Everybody looks kind of dejected, or it's real clean. But those
Uh-huh.
clean, real smooth people are evil. And like we need something else. Like I just don't
I
know
think. I
what I'm
mean,
looking
Star
for.
Wars is prime. Like it's been there the whole time, right? Star Wars is. It's always been the rebels versus the fascists. And in our current time, I think they should really lean into that they're fighting the fascists.
That'd be great. I don't see that right now in this episode.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely not. But I'm just saying for like the Star Wars properties as a whole, that's what I think that's their if they want to try to say something, that's what they should try to say because that's what they've been all about.
Yeah, and did they have some of that stuff? Like, yeah, and like did
Now that
Andor
is in
have?
Andor. That is in Andor.
Yeah, and in Obi
Absolutely.
Wan, I hate they had
Obi-Wan was so bad. Obi-Wan was so bad. Like, why did they even make that?
money, and I didn't even watch that. Like, there's
I mean,
so much
good
Star
for
Wars
you. Good
stuff.
for you.
There's so much Star Wars stuff that I just did not watch. I
Yeah.
did watch the. I went on YouTube and watched the fight between Obi Wan and Darth Vader. That was really
It
cool.
was so bad.
No, it was cool.
Like the firefight
Yeah,
where there
it
was
cool.
fire.
It was cool. I thought it was cool.
They're both force users. Like, why is the fire getting in the way?
I don't know. I thought it was cool. So anyway, that's my thoughts of the Mandalorian. It's because I don't know enough about the lore. I'm kind of
I mean, there really isn't. You said it yourself. Like this whole thing exists because of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So all of the lore, we're learning about it as we watch The Mandalorian.
Okay. Well, all right. Cool. I do want to ask our listeners. Mike and I talked about this off mic. I don't. So what's his face? Peter. What's his face? Peter Cottontail. Pedro Pascal. Okay. So if you look at Pedro Pascal's body, but then you look at the Mandalorian's body, you can
Uh-huh.
tell that he's not in that suit. Like, am I wrong? We looked up some stuff, and sometimes it says he is, sometimes he's not. Like, it's a missed opportunity for him to have taken that helmet off. Like, the cool thing about this Mandalorian guy was we don't know what's under the helmet, and then when he took the helmet off, it was kind of
Yeah.
a letdown in the first season. So I
Right.
understand
Right.
we're going to see that more and more, blah blah blah. But it's always better to keep a guy's helmet on than to keep the
Agreed.
helmet off.
Agreed. This goes back to the like that recent video from YouTube that we shared on Mastodon about how Marvel needs to quit with the stupid like nanotech helmets and have their people have helmets that they take on and off and leave on more often.
Mm. It's cheaper. It's cheaper and easier for them to have CGI helmets.
Yeah, but it's not as good.
That's
The
true.
CGI helmets are not as good.
That's debatable. I don't care about the practicality of it as much as I care about the story elements of it. Like it's like the mystery behind his helmet, who's behind the helmet. That's more interesting to me. Like he never should have took his helmet off. I know it's part of the story, but I don't think he should have.
Yeah, no,
Anyway,
I don't I like Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian, but I think most of the time he should have his helmet on.
like, is that his voice?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
his
don't know.
voice.
I don't know enough about him. All
I
right.
mean, it's definitely like it sounds different from him in The Last of Us, but
Mm.
I think that's him. That's
I think
him.
it's cool. I like Carl Weathers in this. He's always cool to see. Awesome.
Grief Karga. Yeah,
Yeah. Carl Weathers.
it's interesting. It seems like they are naming the characters after the person a little bit. Like
Mm.
it's Grief Karga. It's got Carl kind of in there a little bit,
No, it does.
and then that the woman Gina Carano,
Who?
her character was they fired her, but
Oh
her
yeah.
yeah, her last name was Carano, and her character's name was Cara Dune. So it had like the same. Her character's first name was the first four letters of her last name.
Do they have so a long time ago? They used to have a long, big series of Star Wars books that Disney said this is not canon and kind of kicked to the curb. I wonder what those stories were like about the Mandalorians. I think they took some of
Yeah, I
that.
don't know. I never read this.
So, listeners, if you know anything about some lore about Mandalorians and stuff like that, send us some links so we can kind of learn more about it. One more thing before we wrap up. Why does our Mandalorian have a cooler outfit than any other Mandalorian? Why is his helmet so awesome versus all the other Mandalorians he meets? Every other
I
Mandalorian he
think
meets
I
all
think
looks
it's
stupid.
I think it's awesome because it's less designed. Like
Yeah, it is.
he's out here on the edges. He ain't got time to paint his outfit. So his
Yeah, but
outfit's like super shiny and sleek and cool looking.
yeah, but it's obvious that he looks cooler than everybody else. You know, like that's just an obvious thing. Like I just don't.
Right.
Like if I was a Mandalorian, if I saw him
Like
walk up, I'd be
everybody
like,
else is all painted up, right? They've got like a
yeah,
color theme, and
that's so
he's
ugly.
just stainless steel, man. Or what is it called?
Yeah, the male is called something.
Yeah, the metal's called something. It's
Pes
not adamantium.
Biscow?
Beskar steel. Beskar steel.
Beskar? Yeah,
Yeah.
lightsabers can't cut through it, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know from just different sources that the Mandalorians were hired to fight the Jedi way back in the day.
Because of the Beskar steel.
Just because the Mandalorians are the best fighters in the galaxy, so like they were fight.
Uh,
I'm not really sure how true that is.
right.
Anyway, oh god, sorry about my coughing, guys. My allergies have killed me. Anyway, I guess that's the Mandalorian episode 1. I guess we're gonna keep doing this, huh?
Yeah, keep doing it. Hopefully the next episode's better.
And hopefully I like it more.
Well, I mean, yeah, if it's better, we'll like it more.
Yeah. My favorite part right now is just nothing, to be honest with you. But I do think that I mean, last
You didn't even like the dog fighting in the asteroids.
no, I've seen it before. Listen, I'm
But it's
46 years
good.
old. I've seen all this stuff before. Like, yeah, show me
Like I
something
eat
new.
ramen all the time, but if I have another
Oh,
bowl of
come on.
ramen and it's
Food
good, I'm
is
gonna be like, I
totally
like that.
no, food is different because with food, it's like you remember your mouth remembers what it's like. You can't think about food and then remember the taste in your head without tasting it. You can't you can't remember a taste without tasting something.
Okay.
Like, but when I see something on screen, I've seen it before. It's like, yeah, that's the dog fight from Revenge of the Sith. No, or Attack of the Drones, Attack of the Clones. Same thing.
Okay.
There's a lot of asteroids in this universe. Like, my lord.
Yeah, I bet there are.
Anyway, all right.
So that's it, huh?
I guess I don't have any news you can't abuse. It's kind of
No news
quiet.
you can abuse.
It's
Yeah.
quiet on the Marvel front right now. Next week we'll have
It's gonna be quiet.
yeah, we'll have some news you can't abuse for next week, guys.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll make sure we have some news. I'll
You
make some
gonna
news.
are you gonna hunt out some Star Wars news you can
I guess we're a Star Wars podcast
We don't
now.
have to have news you can abuse while we're talking about the Mandalorian if you don't want to.
No, we need news you can't abuse.
I mean, if any, like I wouldn't be you don't have to be a truffle pig searching out Marvel news when there really isn't any.
well, I'm a pretty big. I feel like that I'm a Marvel News truffle pig.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Well then, have at it.
yeah. So apparently, just a couple side things. Apparently, there's going to be a big Marvel Snap update sometime in a couple days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, keep that in mind.
Do you know
Um,
like anything that we're gonna get?
no, no idea.
I really want like clans or groups or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's it. That's the only thing that people need to listen to. All right.
All right,
So
we'll
next week,
see. Yeah,
we'll
next week.
we'll
More
do another.
Mandalorian.
Hey, when does this come out? I don't even know I don't even know when the new one comes out.
It's Wednesday.
It comes out on Wednesdays. Okay.